The case of the United Healthcare CEO's assassination sent shockwaves through the nation. But the most unsettling aspect wasn't the crime itself, but the perpetrator. He wasn't a hardened criminal, no mastermind operating in the shadows. He was a seemingly ordinary man, living an ordinary life. His ability to exist undetected, to blend seamlessly into the fabric of society while harboring such darkness, is a chilling reminder of the duality of human nature. It begs the question, how many more seemingly normal people are living double lives? This case throws into sharp relief the unsettling reality that extraordinary acts can be committed by the most unassuming individuals. People we pass on the street, share a coffee queue with, or even call neighbors, could be harboring secrets darker than we could imagine. It's a disturbing thought, one that forces us to confront the fragility of our perception and the thin veil that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The assassin's life was a study in calculated normalcy. He held a mundane job, frequented local haunts, and engaged in unremarkable routines. He was the epitome of the unassuming neighbor, the invisible face in the crowd. His ability to disappear into the background, to evade detection despite his heinous act, speaks to the chilling effectiveness of deliberate anonymity. He understood the power of conformity, of adhering to societal expectations. He knew that fitting in, being just another face in the crowd, would be his most effective camouflage. And he was right. His ordinariness became his shield, deflecting suspicion and allowing him to move undetected within the very system he sought to disrupt. This case is a sobering reminder that the most dangerous individuals are often those who are invisible, those who blend seamlessly into the background noise of everyday life.
For many younger people, this case wasn't just about a crime. It was a symptom of a system they view as inherently corrupt.
Raised on a steady diet of corporate scandals, economic inequality, and healthcare failures, they see the assassin's actions through a different lens.
While not condoning violence, they understand the desperation that fuels such drastic measures.
The assassin, in their eyes, becomes a tragic figure, a product of a system that has failed them. This generation, disillusioned by the broken promises of a system rigged against them, grapples with a complex mix of emotions. They feel cynicism towards institutions they believe are inherently corrupt, yet harbor a reluctant admiration for someone who dare to challenge the status quo, however misguidedly. Section 4. Systemic blind spots, corporate greed and the blurring of morality.
The United Healthcare CEO in many ways embodied the worst excesses of corporate greed. His pursuit of profit over people, his disregard for the human cost of his decisions, made him a symbol of everything wrong with the system.
In the eyes of many, he wasn't just a CEO, he was a villain, a representation of the systemic forces that perpetuate inequality and suffering.
This case highlights how systemic issues can create a dangerous moral ambiguity. When a system is perceived as inherently corrupt, when the lines between right and wrong are blurred by corporate greed and institutional failures, it becomes easier to rationalize extreme actions.
The assassin in this context is no longer just a criminal, but a vigilante, a flawed hero fighting against a faceless, unaccountable entity.
Section 5. Our collective blindness, a crisis of accountability. The assassin's ability to live undetected forces us to confront our own complicity in this societal blind spot. We are all guilty to some extent of seeing what we want to see, of accepting the surface narrative without questioning the systems that perpetuate it. We are quick to condemn the individual but slow to acknowledge the systemic failures that create the conditions for such acts. This case is a stark reminder that we are all responsible for the world we create. We cannot simply point fingers at individuals while ignoring the systemic issues that shape their actions. We must acknowledge our collective responsibility to address these root causes, to dismantle systems that prioritize profit over people, and to create a society where violence is not seen as a viable solution to injustice.